Picture this. You are dragged down into a damp, stone-walled dungeon, the air heavy with mold and metal, the faint, steady drone of water dripping somewhere in the darkness. The foreboding, unmistakably sinister contraption in the middle holds a towering, human-shaped construction whose doors creak open to reveal dozens of jagged spikes lining the inside. Every one of them is carefully positioned not to kill you, but to puncture in ways that drag out your agony. You've just met the Iron Maiden, one of history's most infamous torture devices, a machine designed not just to end lives, but to make death a spectacle. The mere thought of being enclosed in this monstrosity sends shivers down your spine. What if I told you this nightmare may have never existed at all? What if the Iron Maiden is just a fabricated legend, a ghost story there to demonize the past? Unbelievable, right? Let's take a closer look at the truth. The story of the Iron Maiden demands one take a step back into the cruelty of the Middle Ages, a time when torture wasn't just punishment, it was performance. People flocked to public executions, not to show compassion, but because of their macabre interest in them. The criminals, traitors, and heretics would face agonies unimaginable for one express purpose: to terrify the public into obedience. Now imagine Iron Maiden to be a part of such a show, a man-sized sarcophagus, thoroughly made of cold, unbending iron. What's inside? Razor-sharp spikes, precisely positioned not to hit your vital organs. Why? So your suffering would last for hours, maybe even days. It is the doors shutting you inside and plunging you into absolute darkness. With every breath, every movement, the spikes dig deeper into your flesh, screams yours muffled by the thick iron walls, while outside people watch, their faces showing feelings torn between horror and fascination. It wasn't a punishment, but rather a message. Step out of line, and this will be your fate. The Iron Maiden wasn't just a tool of pain, it was fear incarnate. Or so we thought. Now here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. Despite its terrifying reputation, the Iron Maiden might be nothing more than a myth. In search of proof of its use, historians scoured medieval records across Europe. What they found, or rather, what they didn't find, was shocking. There is no mention of such a device during the Middle Ages, no account of its construction, no descriptions of its victims, nothing. In fact, the first recorded mentions of the Iron Maiden don't appear until the 18th century, hundreds of years after the Middle Ages ended. That famously named Iron Maiden of Nuremberg, cited by so many as the original, wasn't even discovered until the 19th century. Nowadays, this device is widely regarded to have been a hoax, a museum exhibit aimed to cash in on our fascination with horror. Let me repeat that. The Iron Maiden, that most medieval of torture devices, is not medieval. It was, in all likelihood, invented well after Europe was trying to convince itself that it was well rid of those supposedly dark and barbaric times. In other words, it wasn't history, it was propaganda. But to what end anyone would even construct such a terrifying device is a question answered by fear and by control. Think about it. The Enlightenment was an era in which intellectuals sought to illustrate just how cruel past ages were by comparison with their own enlightened times. And what better way to do that than with the fabrication of a symbol of medieval cruelty? The Iron Maiden became a ghost story, something to make us feel superior to those who came before us. And the ultimate irony is this: even though the Iron Maiden in all likelihood never existed, its legend was just as powerful as if it had. The idea of the Iron Maiden was sufficient to evoke fear and fascination, shaping our view of an entire era of history. But it does not stop here. The Iron Maiden is no myth about the Middle Ages. It is a mirror of human nature. Let's take a step back for a second. Why are we clinging to stories like this? Why are we so attracted to stories of cruelty, even when the tales are hyperbolic or flat-out fabricated? This is because it is one of the strongest methods of control. Think about it. We are afraid of things we do not understand, and we also fear what will be done to us in case we get out of line, real or imagined. The Iron Maiden taps into that very basic fear of pain, rejection, and punishment. It reminds us of what occurs once authority uses fear as a weapon. But here is the lesson. Fear only controls us to the degree that we let it. Iron Maiden may never have existed, but the control that it represents, the fear it symbolizes, that's real. Even today, we live in a world where fear keeps us compliant. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of punishment. They make us tread lightly, afraid to take risks or challenge the status quo. So, my question to you is this: do you believe the Iron Maiden was purely a myth, or do you think there could have been some sort of device like that? More importantly, how does fear feature in your life? Has it crippled you, or have you found a way to break free from its cold grasp? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. At the end of the day, the Iron Maiden is more than just a story about torture. It's a reminder of the power of questioning what we're told to fear. Sometimes, the scariest things aren't the spikes inside a coffin, but the stories we've been told to believe, designed to keep us in check. So, stay inquisitive, stay bold, and next time you are confronted by a story that is intended to intimidate you, perhaps into subsequence, ask yourself, is this real, or is it just another Iron Maiden? So thank you again for watching. If this video got you thinking differently today, then like, share, and subscribe. Let's keep diving into the myths and truths that shape our world together. Stay curious, stay fearless, and I'll catch you in the next one.